What's poppin', y'all? Lizzo has found herself as the laughing stock, but also the North Star. Well, I guess you could call it the South Star because that's where everybody doesn't want to go, of the new music industry and pop artists after it. And this all started back in May when she decided to promote her upcoming album, BITCH. And in early May, she would talk about some of the challenges that she was having promoting it. This album was set to release on June 5th.
Hi, I'm Lizzo. I have an album coming out in 23 days, and I bet you nobody even knows that. I'll tell you why. Full disclaimer, last time I made a video like this, I got some hate on the internet because people were like, oh, she's just mad that she's flopping. But in person, in real life, real people in the industry came up to me and said, thank you for saying what you said because everybody else is too scared to say it. So I'm gonna end this disclaimer by saying, I don't really care what somebody on the internet who's never done this before has to say about it because you don't know what you're talking about, and I do. The algorithm-based way that social media functions now is destroying the music industry. Now, when I say the music industry, I don't mean music culture. I don't mean the good music that's out. I don't mean our ability to connect via social media to music. I'm talking about the actual industry that allows artists to sell their music for profit. Because if your algorithm is super serving you things out of order of when they're happening, then the general public has no idea when music is actually coming out. I have had several occasions where there were artists whose music I was actually looking forward to, I completely missed because I didn't realize it was out because my algorithm didn't tell me. And I don't want to blame everything on the algorithm. Of course, we curate our own reality. However, back in the day, which was maybe even just 5 years ago, we used to get things chronologically. Because of streaming and social media and our post-COVID chronically online society, most of music marketing is online. Not to mention budgets are therefore music marketing relies heavily on social media. But now, ever since the algorithm has been showing us things out of order, baby, there's actually no way to successfully promote an album where everyone knows your album is coming. Now, mind you, when I say everyone knows your album is coming, that doesn't mean whether they care or not that it's coming. Believe it or not, once upon a time, there were artists who were just the biggest on the planet who everyone knew their album was coming, whether they were gonna buy it or not. It was ubiquitous. Where it bites me in the ass is I have a private page. I have a private page with over 280,000 people who follow me because they support me, because they love me. But even when I post on that page, I'm not hitting their algorithm.
So here, Lizzo's actually giving a lot of good game. Granted, this is one of the perfect moments where the messenger is more important than the message. I know it's like the most common phrase is, nah, don't shoot the messenger. Or, well, actually, if you look through history, messengers were getting shot frequently. Yes, and all they were there to do is deliver a message because people associate the negative message with that individual. But that's neither here nor there. But with Lizzo specifically, people don't like Lizzo, so it doesn't matter what she's saying, it's not going to hit well. It's like Taylor Swift is the opposite. Everybody loves Taylor Swift, or at best, they're indifferent. So you might not care what she has to say. So when Taylor Swift comes out and says, oh, the industry's taking advantage of me and I'm going to re-record my albums and I'm going to put them out so I can have ownership over the masters, everybody buys it up. Whereas with Lizzo, they're like, hey, Chunky, go over there. That's what they're saying, not me. But Lizzo is correct. And Lizzo came out during this weird time where radio play helped her a lot, virality helped her a lot, but the fact that Lizzo was so famous was something that we didn't quite understand. Most of us, like the Truth Hurts song, we could understand an Adele. We could even understand a Meghan Trainor, but everyone was confused with Lizzo, which I don't think that she was really in the know, or not in the know, but she didn't have the pulse of what we were all paying attention to, which is who is putting money behind this person to make them so successful. On a smaller scale, it's like Coi Leray, whereas like Coi Leray, obviously the image is very different, but Coi Leray had so much money behind her. Think about it. How many real fans does Coi Leray have? She's not even a Trim. Miss Trim from South Carolina is more popping right now than Coi Leray. Now, Coi Leray had a hit, which was in part due to remixing a previous hit from, 20 years ago. But hey, listen, I always give her credit for being able to pull out a hit. And that's probably all she'll ever need. But I do think it's really disappointing that people like Lizzo are unable to reach fans. Like she says later on in this video that she had a page that was specifically private for her diehard fans. And now, because of the way that social media algorithms work, she can't reach these people. And that's unfortunate, and it's sad because she worked hard to build that. Anyway, she goes on, promotes the album, and everyone's focusing on this. And the album, BITCH, drops June 5th, and it's via Atlantic, which is important because Atlantic Records, just like with Warner, they cleaned house. They fired a lot of people and they stopped putting support behind a lot of people and they dropped a lot of people. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if A Boogie got dropped. I know that Meek Mill ended up getting dropped. A bunch of people, they were just like, hey, just get out of here. Get out. Skedaddle. We're not interested in you. And they just started to focus all their attention onto their best-selling acts. You could tell how much money they put behind Cardi B, who also put in her own effort. But it seems like Lizzo saw the effort that Cardi B was doing and thought that if she matched that, she would maybe get a proportional return. But that's not the case, because even on Rolling Stone they would report this, and they said BITCH arrived on June 5th via Atlantic. Within its first week, the album sold 2,649 copies and racked up just under 2.7 million on-demand streams, according to music data company Luminate. In its second week, which is more important, it drops nearly, 75%? Sales drop to 650 units, while streams dip to just under 900,000. So this is as close to DOA. I think Sway Lee might have sold more numbers than her. It's a steep drop from her previous album, 2022 Special, which debuted with 39,000 copies sold and 69,000 equivalent album units earned, enough for a number 2 debut on the Billboard 200. B somehow managed to evade the chart entirely. Time is of the essence for most pop artists, and yet her brief absence doesn't entirely explain such an abrupt fall. What does? I think it's a lot of different things. I don't think not her ascension, because I think that might have been real, but she was really a one-hit wonder. She didn't have the motion like that, and she was pushed by all of these late-night shows, and everyone started clowning her. Like, the girls were clowning her, the pop world, the pop stands. Everybody collectively was making fun of her album sales. And she would have a little mini crash out, throwing her Grammy on the floor on TikTok because she doesn't understand why.
Okay, I promoted my album, and people on the internet clown me for it, so I don't know what to do. I promoted my album super hard, and people were calling me a desperate flop. So I don't know, guys.
So while this was all going on, I wanted to wait for the album to drop because I thought this was one of the most interesting stories, because people will say, yo, this person didn't put enough effort into promoting it. Lizzo for a month, everybody saw what Lizzo was doing. And most people didn't care about the music. This is why I've been saying this for years, countless years. Hell, even Sean Cotton is saying this now with rappers, and he's experienced it because the guy's actually signed several artists. The music doesn't matter for the most part. Do you even know what the music sounds like on Lizzo's new album? You're probably like, nah, but I'm not going to listen to it, even though you may have heard of her promoting it. But one of the points that she made was that, like, hey, back then you all heard that an album was dropping, and now you won't even hear about an album. Sometimes, like 2 weeks later, if you're just using these music apps, you're like, whoa, this person dropped? I didn't know that. But with Lizzo, the reason is because she made herself very dislikable. There weren't many likable things about Lizzo. And even if she made incredible music, the fact that she was showing up to places like NBA games, courtside, wearing almost nothing, and her appearance being what it is, which a lot of people weren't fond of, and regardless of her size, even if she was smaller and was behaving in the way that she was behaving courtside, people would have found it distasteful. So a lot of these fans, if you were going to talk about Lizzo fans, they likely would have matched the same demo of Meghan Trainor fans, right? All about that bass, that era of overweight women, which is like, you would think like moms would be listening to her. But moms, or middle-aged moms in general, they're not going to want to see the image that Lizzo was putting out there, because they're like, wait, we have kids. And the way that you're dressing and showing yourself, like, we can't even play a music video of you for our kids or around our kids. And we can't even go to your show because you're trying to turn this into I don't know, like a strip club or something. So you kind of lose that part of your fans. And the young girls, they're listening to Sabrina Carpenter. The young girls are listening and fanning out over somebody that is thin and fits some ideal appearance that they want to look like, and also delivers the music. Like, they're listening to Olivia Rodrigo, they're listening to Billie Eilish, and some people will say like Billie Eilish doesn't fit the mold of the image thing, the body image, but Billie Eilish is also not being as lewd as Lizzo was. And Lizzo's attitude and fake attitude, which is something that Coi Leray had, this fake confidence, which wasn't real, of like, oh, I'm the ish, that turned a lot of people away too. And the reason why I say that is because there were 2 other pop stars that dropped after Lizzo, and they should have done more numbers because their careers, they had way higher highs. And we're going to cover them right now. And I didn't see anybody talk about this, because to pull these numbers from Luminate that Rolling Stone is doing, you need to go out of your way to get these numbers. So people are all focusing on Lizzo, but let's just look at BB Rexa, right? A pop artist that I enjoy. The reason why I found out that her album even dropped, Dirty Blonde, was because I went on my Spotify app. They're like, hey, these are the new albums that dropped today. I was like, oh, cool. Let me listen to this album. I listened to the whole album. And this was an album that she put out, not with a major label, mind you. She put it out via distribution on Empire. And BB Rexa, she dropped this on June 12th. And the first week sales for her were around 19,000 first week. But hold on. And this debuted at 43. So you're probably like, yo, that's a way, way more than Lizzo. Hold on, though. 15,000 of this were pure sales, which were via bundles that she dropped and physicals and things like that with the album. So really, she sold around 4,000, which is in the same ballpark that Lizzo sold. Yet nobody's focused, and BB Rexa has had way bigger songs than Lizzo. She's been in the game longer than Lizzo. Like, she has that I'm Good. She has songs with multiple billions of streams. She was on Me, Myself, and I. That's probably the most recognizable one with G-Eazy for you guys that are into hip hop as well. She had a bunch of pop songs as well. So this girl, or this woman, she's doing the same number, but nobody's after her because BB Rexa doesn't have that much hate. Like, people don't want to see her fail, and they don't want to see her fail because she hasn't been moving like Lizzo. And I do think these are decent numbers, even for a BB Rexa to be put out via a distribution like Empire and not a major label. But there's another individual, and that is Jessie Reyez, who dropped the same day as BB Rexa, June 12th. And she dropped her album A Little Vengeance. And Jessie Reyez, she had songs with like Sam Smith and stuff like that. So she has had hit songs with hundreds of millions of streams. Now, she's not as big as a BB Rexa, nowhere close, but I would say she's on a slightly one level below, maybe we could say Lizzo, or not one full level, but they're in the same ballpark. But Jessie Reyez, her album A Little Vengeance, this would drop on a major, so this would drop on Universal, on Island underneath Universal, and she would do about like 10K first week. I don't know how much of that is pure sales, but she debuted at number 141. And this wasn't really reported. This didn't get as much attention either. And both Jessie Reyez and BB Rexa were putting in a lot of promotion into their albums. But it just goes to show you how important it is to preserve your likability. Or, well, yeah, for Lizzo, she just did everything wrong, frankly. And even people that don't listen to Lizzo's music hate her. Or they don't hate her, but they experience schadenfreude when it comes to her failing, and they enjoy her failing. But with a Jessie Reyez or a BB Rexa, either you enjoy their music and you know that they released and you listen to it and that's all there is to it, or you don't really pay attention to them. Maybe you hear the hits here and there and you're not really concerned with what their numbers do. And even if you saw their numbers, you're just like, oh, okay. It doesn't make you feel, it doesn't emotionally get you excited, happy to see them fail. You're probably just like, well, what did their last album do? You don't even care. You're just scrolling past it. And that's the big difference between a Lizzo and these other girls. And the problem for Lizzo is that she cannot recover from this. Like, she can't, and it's not just an appearance thing. It's an appearance. It's the whole package that makes Lizzo unlikable, and she doesn't have the undeniable music behind it either. Now, do I feel bad for Lizzo? A little bit, in the sense that I know that she put a ton of effort into this album and getting it released, and she did everything that everybody told her you're supposed to do to have a successful album rollout, and then it doesn't do well, and then now she's going to be a laughingstock and people are going to call her a flop and not listen to her music that she put a lot of effort into because it didn't perform well despite her doing everything that people say you're supposed to do to make it perform well. And emotionally, that's got to be draining because you're like, hey, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. No matter what, I'm going to get hate. But she set herself up for this. And anybody that was around her with some sense could have told her, hey, listen, you don't want people hating you. That is, especially if you're a pop star, that's not what you want. Like, look at Pitbull. You want people to feel lukewarm about you. Like, a lot of you guys probably don't listen to Pitbull's music. Maybe if it comes on, right, a hit. But you're not like, yo, what did Pitbull just drop? But your opinion of Pitbull is just straight neutral. Or maybe it's like a positive meme where you're like, Dale, Mr. Worldwide. So there's this positive affiliation with them. It's like a brand. When you're a pop star, you're this major brand that's not soulless like some sort of a corporation, but as close to it as possible. Like, you don't want to have any opinions on anything. You don't want to be controversial. You just want to be there to give good times. And that's what a Flo Rida does. That's what a BB Rexa does. Now, she does, I think she puts out like opinions here and there, but you don't really hear them. Like, if you're a guy, that they're not reaching you. That's what, Flo Rida, Pitbull, that's what all, Enrique Iglesias at one point in time, that's what all these girls and guys at that top do. And it works. Now, with the Sabrina Carpenter, you could say that, yeah, she leans more into the, I guess you could say, like, misandrous themes. Some people would say that, but her fan base is all women and gay guys. So it's not really going to harm her at all. Like, she's not reaching the broad market like a Rihanna, for instance, who does not put those types of themes out, or even a Doja Cat who does not put those themes out, who have more of a unisex fan base. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.